Good morning, and welcome to Philosophy on Tap, the deepest secrets of the universe explored over beers in the park. This beer needs no introduction. It is the best beer in the world as far as I'm concerned, and it's actually good for you. I recommend this very much for after training. It's full of iron, full of nitrogen. It's poured with nitrogen and not carbon dioxide. It's a lovely, velvety, smooth drink to drink, and Guinness is actually good for you. I love Guinness. But what exactly does this mean? I love Guinness. Does it mean that I will drink Guinness over any other drink? That I will only drink Guinness and not any other beer? Does it mean that I feel an affinity to Guinness, that I'll drink a Guinness every day or have to drink a Guinness every week? No, none of these things apply. But I do love Guinness. When we use the word love, it all depends on the context that we use it in and our interpretation or we'd have to define our terms when we use the word love, because really, everything is subject to interpretation, and our interpretation of things depends very much on our nature, on our nurture, on our conceptual, as well, that would be a conceptual, nurture would be our conceptual experiences, but depends on very much on a number of variables. And really then, if we want to establish our own values and start defining our own morality, we have to not only question our nature and our nurture, but we have to start questioning our concepts, and beginning with such concepts as our concept of love. Because otherwise, all we have is conditioned concepts. Like, for example, we have an understanding of love that comes from Disney, that comes from, different romantic films, not only Disney, but well, as I always say, princess syndrome is as a result of girls thinking they're going to, that the prince is coming in later life. I often say here in the Balkans, princess syndrome is a big thing, but this is basically where a lot of people's concept of love starts, is with Disney, and then from films like different. Like Gone with the Wind and different films that would project a certain concept of love. And then that'd be one person's concept of love. And then we have the indoctrination that comes from the likes of the Christians and their concept of love. And then nobody even questions their concept of love, but yet they indoctrinate everybody in how you should behave and how you should, with their good Samaritan bullshit and their fucking love everybody and lick everybody's arse and everything else, even though it's completely hypocritical to what they do. Basically, we all know Christian values, piety, poverty, chastity, but yet their actions are completely contradictory to these. They're complete hypocrites. But the reason I'm bringing up the Christians is because in order to start to understand our concept of love, we have to understand that in the last 2 millennia, the biggest inversion of the hierarchies was the Christians overcoming the Romans. Now this is, in fact, the weak overcoming the strong. And then they created hierarchical systems and academic hierarchies in order to impose their will and indoctrinate everybody in their teachings, and to build their empire. But Christianity and capitalism go hand in hand. They go hand in hand in Western civilization, like they were in every king's ear, they were in every leader's ear. They had a very strongly entwined with the state, especially in Catholic Ireland, where they involved themselves in the whole education system and everything else. Like, the church really got their fucking nose into fucking everything. And really, capitalism and Christianity go hand in hand in Western civilization. Basically, love and money, and the love of money. And then basically what derives from this then is this need from love, because they're weak, and this need for money. Again, predator and prey. I could go into Nietzsche and the Christians, but let's not go there. Let's just stick to what I'm talking about, the concept of love. So when we go into this Christian concept of love, a lot of people seem to get it wrong, and they say, like, as I said to somebody recently, you need a lot of love. Like, why do you think you need so much love? And they said, well, it's a survival mechanism. He said, you know, if people love you, they're more likely to look after your interests, make sure you're okay, all the rest. So I said, then it's just in your own interest that you need love, that you just give what you think ought to be reciprocated and will be reciprocated and everything else. But the big problem with this is when it's not reciprocated, then it makes you fucking miserable. Or you might even have an underlying current of anger, or when your expectations are not met, when you give what you consider to be love or perceive as love and your expectations are not met, or it's not reciprocated as you expect it to be, this might cause an underlying current of anger, an underlying current of misery, an underlying current of anxiety, an underlying current of depression. Do you know what I mean? But basically, then what you need more love, like a drug. I used to say love was a drug. But this was only from one perspective when I used to say, like, you know, that if you use love in this manner, it is a drug, because you're using it the same as drugs. Well, it's the oxytocin, bonding hormone, serotonin, dopamine. It is a selection of natural drugs. It's all the, as I say, all the feelings. But if you use it like this to alleviate your misery, then it'll end up destroying you, because you end up in a codependent relationship, and it becomes a completely toxic relationship, a codependent relationship. But the thing is, in Western civilization, they tend to encourage this a lot, especially psychiatry and psychology, because in one way they tell you to internalize your happiness, in another way they tell you how to lick everybody's hole in order to get them, because this is the Christian way to basically lick everybody's arse in the hope that it'll be reciprocated. Basically, they'll teach you that it feels good to lick everybody's hole, but they don't tell you that when it's not reciprocated, it doesn't feel so good at all. Basically, I think psychiatry and psychology are made up of two things: people who need love and people who need money. Like Peterson's an out-the-door capitalist. By his own admission, he's out-the-door capitalist. So basically, it's a complete exploitation of the weak and the needy in order for financial gain. And this is what capitalism is all about, really. In identifying someone's needs and pain and exploiting the shit out of it. I suppose then, like, you know, I don't want to do like psychiatry and psychology and tell everybody how they should live and how they should act, and you don't need love and all this. I appreciate the fact that the weak do need love. They do need love. But the strong don't. And this is why when we have the hierarchical system that come along, the academic hierarchy come along and teach Stoicism, they do piss me off, because they do teach it in the very same manner as the Christians. Like, philosophy is supposed to supersede religion, but yet they try to make a religion out of it by trying to tell you that how you should conduct yourself, how you should behave yourself, how you should lick everybody's hole and rim everybody's hole in order that be reciprocated. This is their idea of love, but this is the idea of love of the weak. But then we take Marcus Aurelius. Like I always say about Stoicism, it covers it's not a universal, it's not an ethical doctrine, and it's not a universal system of how one should conduct themselves. It's for everybody to live according to their nature and according to nature, and nature is complex and diverse. But what we have then is we have Epictetus, the beta male, then we have Seneca, who was in between. He was neither, he's in the middle of the binary, the weak and the strong, where he was extremely rich. And then we had Marcus Aurelius, who was the Emperor of Rome, but he would have been, what I consider the representation of the strong character, but yet how to be embracing the virtues of Stoicism: courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. But how to actually use these to work on your character and build on your character. And that's why if you read Meditations, it was all about working on his character, but it was constant reminders from my soul of how to respond to life, how to respond to life, how to respond to life, and the different eventualities in which he faces. How to understand nature and choose his best response in every eventuality, but that comes from an understanding of nature. And that's why I say, like, there's a man like who says, basically, like, like the weak will tell you that Stoicism is all about love everybody, to use Christian politics. And I said, but yet the man was out swinging a broadsword from one end of the day to the other. But as Charles Manson said, everything is love. Now, when Charles Manson said this, I nearly fell out of the fucking chair, because I couldn't understand it at all. I understood it straight away. I mean, because like, if most people's actions are determined by their feelings, and they don't control their thoughts and they don't control their feelings, and they haven't developed their faculty of reason, so they don't think. So basically your actions are determined by their feelings, and if your actions are determined by your feelings, then everything is love, because you don't control your feelings. Everything is love. But what you can do is you can contemplate every action, you can contemplate history, and you can say to yourself, I'm going to choose a different response, I'm going to choose a different response. My actions won't be determined by my feelings, they'll be determined by pure reason. And then your concept of love changes. Your concept of love changes. Then you start to think like the universe. That basically you will do what you think is right and what is necessary. But basically this is a completely different understanding of love than the weak understand it. As I say, the weak is just for their own huddled together like rats, like a complete codependency, because they're weak. And then what you have then is, when you need love, the whole question then becomes, well, what do you do for love? What do you do for love? And what the weak do is they want to be valued by everybody. They want to go around and want to save everybody. They impose their morality. And if you need saving, you need me. And then they sit back all delighted with themselves when they think they can save somebody, or think they've made such a great impact on somebody's life. And this, as far as I can see, is the other great, besides the capitalists, you have the weak and the needy. There's one certain group I can think of. I remember when I was studying cognitive behavioural therapy, and they invited me to different different things where you all get to practice on each other, practice to others. And I just said to myself, I'm not going anywhere near those cunts. Needy fucking cunts that just want to feel so valued because they're so, we have experience, and the only thing that's alleviating their misery and making them feel so valued is the fact that there's already needy cunts. You know what I mean? I may get off this fucking thing. Basically, I sum it up like this: it's for everybody to establish their own concept of love, but think about, do I need love? And the big question is, why do you need it? Because if you're just using it to alleviate your misery, it's just another drug. Bye.